Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rock's Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rock's Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here on behalf of my friends at American Financing. How much of your paycheck disappears before you even get to enjoy it? Credit cards, car payments, medical bills. It feels like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul every month. But here's the good news. If you own a home, American Financing can help you make your equity into your exit strategy. They'll help you consolidate your debt, calibrate your budget, and conquer your financial stress. We all want to live without that weight, and your home's equity could help you do just that. Their salary-based mortgage consultants look at your entire financial picture. The average customer saves $800 a month. You may delay 2 mortgage payments, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. Guys, there's no upfront fees and no obligation. Free up cash flow for the things that actually matter. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334 and MLSconsumeraccess.org.
Are you an HVAC or mechanical contractor looking for qualified manpower you can rely on? Smart Local 9 sheet metal workers provide highly trained professionals ready to get the job done safely, efficiently, and with pride. Their workforce is trained through a 4-year apprenticeship program focused on HVAC systems, service, welding, drafting, safety, and emerging technologies. Need manpower for a large project or flexibility as workloads change? Smart Local 9 helps you stay competitive with access to a skilled, dependable workforce. Learn more at smw9.com.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Philip Lindsay. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight. Taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
It is Denver Sports Tonight right here on the ever-powerful Denver Sports 1043. The Fan, Anilo Piro, Dante Gomez, hanging out with you guys here on this Thursday evening. A bit of a somber show today for a number of different reasons. Obviously, the Colorado Avalanche at the front of our minds here. I'm still processing what occurred over the last week or so as the Avalanche's season comes to an absolutely screeching halt. Stunning fashion. Use any adjective you'd like to describe the end of the season for the Colorado Avalanche, and I think it'll fit the mold because it is truly baffling to believe not that they lost the series. It's less about losing the series to me, and it's more about how they lost. Outclassed, outplayed, no adjustments, no counterpunch, no juice. The Avalanche rolled over and died. A team in the Colorado Avalanche which appeared to be, not even appeared to be, simply was a wagon for 99% of the season. There was sure some lull periods there after the Olympic break, right? But to be expected, at least in a certain instance, at least in my opinion. But from start to finish, I mean, you look at the odds and you just watch them with your own two eyes and you see them beating up on teams left and right. No doubt in my mind, the Avalanche were a cut above the rest of the teams in the NHL, at least during the regular season. And frankly, I even thought so through the first two rounds of the playoffs. I mean, you sweep the Los Angeles Kings, you gentlemen sweep the Minnesota Wild, flex on them along the way, get about a week off to take on the Las Vegas Golden Knights. You're without Cale Makar for the first two games, which stinks, but is not the only reason as to why they lost this series. And it's not about rest versus rust or anything like that for me right now at the Avalanche. It is a lack of killer instinct. It is a lack of ability to go out there and execute and play your best hockey when your back's against the wall. Let's call a spade here. This Avalanche team was a front-running team for a majority of this season. This is an Avalanche team that would impose their will on their opponents. This is an Avalanche team that had the best offense in the NHL and an elite defense at times as well. Like, this Avalanche team did not know what it was like to be in the pressure cooker until it was too late. I'm stunned. Generally stunned. We'll kind of do a little funeral show here today. We'll also talk about where the Avalanche go from here. What do you want to see them do? Of course, we'll talk about the future of Jared Bednar. I'll give you some takes about Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar. And want to get you guys involved in the program here today as well on the RamosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. Dante Gomez, how you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I kind of feel like the mental funeral I had for the Avalanche was after they lost Game 3. To me, that was just you had to win that one. You're not coming back from down 3-0. I bought in a little bit to them winning Game 4. I talked myself into them winning Game 5 if it got to that point, but I never fully talked myself into them being able to come back from down 3-0. I think even if you're the biggest hater of the Colorado Avalanche, you weren't predicting a 4-0 sweep
25
from
to
Las
odds.
Vegas.
25 to 1 odds.
That
was the price.
Yeah. That's just absurd. The fact that went through. How many tickets do you think there are out there? A Vegas night sweep Western Conference
I would think
final.
I could probably count them. There's probably more than you think, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but either way, I don't know who's putting their money on that. Good for them, whoever foresaw that happening. I mean, the Avs were favorites in Game 1.
Favorites in every game.
Well, that's where I was going.
Oh,
they were favorites in Game 2. They were favorites in Game 3. They were favorites in Game 4. They probably would have been favorites in Game 5 if they were to win Game 4. I just don't understand how you lose 4 straight like that. And again, I don't think Cale Makar missing is an excuse for this team. To me, that's not a death sentence for your team if you're missing one hockey player out there. This team's too deep for that to be the go-to excuse, and we lauded at their depth all season for how good this team was. It's like, and even the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, we were talking about like, wow, Nick Waugh is putting up gold. Wow, Ross Colton is putting up points, and it just feels like everything came crashing down at the same time. And you can even include the goaltenders. They weren't horrible in this series, but they weren't great. They didn't win the Avalanche any of the games. So it's just shocking and almost confusing, to be honest, about how we watched this team for 90 games this year, and then those 4 games happen. It just looks like 2 different teams.
It's perplexing. It's truly perplexing. It's so hard to wrap your mind around. And let me come out and say this. Give all of the credit in the world to the Vegas Golden Knights. I believe the last time I was on this show was the day after Game 1, if memory serves me correctly, because I believe we had kind of like, what's going on conversation. And I was very confident that the Avalanche would figure out a way to bounce back in Game 2 and bounce back in this series after the Game 1 loss. I wasn't even stressed. I mean, I thought something of it, but I was like, this team's going to be fine. Maybe they just need to get punched in the mouth a little bit. Game 2 was shocking. I was in the building with Will Peterson. We're watching the game together, going back and forth, and we're saying the Avs got to score more goals if they want to win this thing, which is obviously not rocket science, but they had, one goal. They finished with one goal in that game, and it just felt like they left the door open for the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 2, and they take advantage. But the stunning game is Game 3.
They did everything that we'd been asking. They're down 0-2. It's like, all right, hey, guys, you guys haven't really played 60 minutes of good hockey. Let's get out to an early lead. And that's what they do. They go out and go a 3-0 lead in the first period. This team had not blown a third period lead all season, and they go out and do it. So to me, I'm with you on that one. Truly stunning, where it's like, all right, you guys are playing better hockey. I think they figured some stuff out, and somehow they still managed to blow it.
Even after Game 2, I'm talking myself into this team's going to be okay. Like that, after Game 2 is when I started to get a bit nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you dropped your first 2 games on home ice. Like, what is going on here? And obviously the start of Game 3, it's electric. I mean, 3 goals in the manner in which they were had. Turned to my girlfriend. I'm like, look, I'm watching the game with her. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, this is what we've been waiting to see. Everything you just said. Right? But I also remember having the conversation with my buddies, and I'm like, there's a lot of time left in this game. There's a lot of time left, and Father Time caught up to the Avalanche in that game as well. And again, give all the credit in the world to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. You know what? Vegas' style of play in this series reminded me, it was a more peak form of what the Kings were trying to do in the first round series. Vegas, an excellent defensive team, able to take advantage on offense when they need to. And it felt like that was the same style that the Los Angeles Kings were trying to play. But when you have 2 guys who can score goals for you in Kempe and Panarin, it's only going to get you so far when it comes to down to that series against the Los Angeles Kings. So again, I tip my cap to Vegas. This to me wasn't as much about the Avalanche, like just missed opportunity after missed opportunity. It's as much about the Vegas Golden Knights to me and how they outclassed and outplayed the Avalanche as it is the Avalanche not living up to expectations. Now look, Colorado could have been much better. Nathan McKinnon was a ghost. Marty Natchez ain't beating the allegations. Cale Makar banged up. Everyone was banged up as well. Natchez went down at one point. McKinnon, we obviously saw take the puck off the knee. Valentin Shushkin was not playing in Game 4. Like, everybody was banged up, but that's not the excuse here necessarily for this Avalanche team. Maybe it's one of them, but to me, it's so much more than that. And again, I go back to what I opened up with. There's a lack of juice with this team. And we had not seen the Avalanche be in that type of a position over the course of 3 games and that type of a leverage situation really all season. And they had no answer. That's the extremely concerning part to me, is there was no backbone with this team. And that's why I keep using the term front runner. Because the Avalanche had the luxury of being so dominant and so good and getting out to leads in the regular season. They were able to, I don't want to say take their foot off the gas, but not have to endure the stress and the pressure that is coming back in the playoffs and dealing with that adversity. They were flying high. And I go back to Nathan McKinnon's comments before the series started. He said he expected it to be a 6 or 7 game series. Obviously not the case.
Boy, was he wrong on that one.
Yeah, and didn't meet with the media after the final 3 games of the series. I was in his final scrum of the season after Game 1, about 53 seconds long, if memory serves me correct. And I also think back to this. Like, I'm in the locker room leading up to Game 1. It was the same day when McFarland and Bednar and McKinnon and all the players met with the media. And I believe it's someone from 9 News asked Martin Natchez the question, like, hey, like, this is kind of like a new-look Vegas team, right? Like, new coach, new energy. And Marty Natchez, I'll never forget, like, looks back at the report. He's like, how are they different? And that was something that I made a mental note of. And I'm like, okay. And again, give credit where credit is due to Vegas. But I'm not trying to say the Avalanche didn't take Vegas seriously. That's not what I'm trying to take. Or that's not what I'm trying to say. But clearly, the Avalanche maybe thought they were better than we all thought they were, or something. Like something did not click with this team. They just lost the mojo. They just lost the juice. And it's such an extremely disappointing way for the season to end, Dante. It's truly hard to rationalize right now.
And you keep saying, credit to Las Vegas. I probably respected Las Vegas more than most people did.
You did.
In this market.
You did.
I was asking about them 2 months ago when they fired their head coach Cassidy and they moved on and hired Torts to be the interim. I was like, hey, does that bring any juice to this team? Is that going to change anything? I was told it was not going to change anything, and that was incorrect as well. But to me, when you compared what Vegas is trying to do to what the LA Kings were trying to do, I don't necessarily see that comparison as much. I see it more as that's what Dallas likes to do. They're going to be a defensive first team, and they have enough talent and skill offensively that they're going to be able to score and keep up with some of the teams like this. So to me, it really makes me question the style of hockey the Avalanche play. Is it suitable for the Stanley Cup playoffs? Because to me, the answer is no. This team has played this high-flying style of hockey for the last 8 years now. And yeah, they won one cup. I'm very happy for them for that. It's not easy to win a championship, so all the credit for them for that. But when you're the best team in hockey and a top 3 probably cup favorite for 8 straight years, and you only have one cup to show for it, to me it really makes me question the style of hockey they play and if you can succeed with that in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm talking with Brian from KYGO, who's a big hockey guy, plays hockey still, coaches hockey as well, like has as much hockey knowledge as anybody, if not more than people on this station. I seriously mean that when I say it. And one of the good points that he brings up is the Avalanche's inability at times, like they're a finesse offense team. They're not a muck it up north-south team, like really at all. I was going to say consistently, like really at all. And it played right into the hands of Las Vegas. And the reason why I say keep giving Vegas credit is because they knew exactly what they needed to do to beat the Avalanche, and they nailed it to a T.
And they have their identity.
Correct.
That was also part of it. And the Avalanche have their identity too. But again, I question if that identity can be successful in the playoffs for a sustainable 4 series to go on and win a cup, because the way I see it is you need to be a defensive first team that can capitalize when you have the opportunity offensively. And to me, the Avalanche are not a defensive first team. You can throw out the stats of, they led the league in scoring and offensively. They also led the league in scoring defensively in a positive way. I don't care about the regular season stats. Show me what you can do in the playoffs. Show me that defensive identity that's going to get it done come May and June in hockey. And to me, this team can't do that. Not as of yet. And I know we're going to get to the Bednar thing, but honestly, I think that you might need to bring in a new coach to create a new identity with this team.
Okay, well, let's go there. So it sounds like you're on team get Bednar out.
I am. I really like David Bednar. Or Jared Bednar.
I think it's David Carl.
No. David Bednar is a pitcher for the Yankees.
Yes.
I did this like 3 times last week. I really like Jared Bednar. I think he's a fantastic coach, but I also am in the camp of you can only be with one team for so long before it runs its course. So it's not really an indictment on Bednar himself. It's more of an indictment on, hey, you've been here for a decade. It's time to move on, get a new message in the locker room.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to sit here and pound the table for Bednar's job, because I'm not sure that getting rid of Jared Bednar is the cure to what has plagued the Avalanche since they won a Stanley Cup all those years ago. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying all those years ago, but I mean, it's been a while, right? Especially with this core and the expectation associated with this core. Because here's what I will say, though. I think you can make a case either way. I think I can make a strong case to keep Jared Bednar, and I can understand if the Avalanche opt to move on from Jared Bednar for the reasons in which you just stated. Hey, it's been 10 years. We've won a Stanley Cup. We've fallen short of expectations the last few years. We just got to get some new juice in here, right? I could understand that for sure. But on the flip side, I'm looking back at this team, and I'm saying, well, Jared Bednar was the steward of a Colorado Avalanche team that was the best team in hockey for the entirety of the season. Swept the team in the first round. Gentlemen swept the Minnesota Wild team that was absolutely lethal. At least the expectation was for them to be lethal. Had 121 points. And I'm not saying they were 59-16 with 11 overtime losses as well, but 121 points. And I'm not saying regular season success equates to postseason success. Obviously, that's not the case with what we just saw play out.
It should more than what it has been.
It should. But also, like, this is where spoiled probably isn't the right word. You have a chance every single year. And I understand, and I'm not just trying to take like the low bar or anything like that, but like the Avalanche are going to be back in this position next year with Jared Bednar as the head coach or not. Right? And so I think the reasoning for getting off of Jared Bednar is kind of like what the New York Knicks have done with Tom Thibodeau bringing in Mike Brown. Right? Like the Knicks were on the precipice last year in the Eastern Conference Final. They lose to a buzzsaw team, the same word that Jared Bednar used to describe Vegas, in the Indiana Pacers. They make a move. They now find themselves in the finals against we don't know who they're going to play yet. But I could also make an argument that if you bring back Tom Thibodeau, I think the Knicks would probably be in the same spot right now. And I know it's not a direct comparison, but like I put the Avs shortcomings, if I have to play the blame game, to me it's more about Nathan McKinnon being a ghost, Marty Natchez not being the allegations, and injury bug. I mean, is Jared Bednar responsible for Mark Stone having a breakaway shot opportunity in a game for your life in Game 4? Logan O'Connor, I believe, was on the record after the series ended talking about how we deviated away from the game plan. One of the biggest criticisms of Jared Bednar is this guy has no counter. This guy can't, change up the game plan. Well, Logan O'Connor is telling you point blank that the players themselves were incapable of sticking to the game plan that Jared Bednar laid out for him. So again, Jared Bednar does not get a pass. But let's not act like getting rid of Jared Bednar is going to be the one fell swoop cure that gets this Avalanche team a Stanley Cup.
Oh, absolutely not. And you don't want to be the Chargers that fired Schottenheimer and Norv Turner to get Mike McCoy, and then it gets
Correct.
bad. You don't want to be that situation because you see that across sports all the time of, hey, this guy can get us there, but not quite finish the job, so we're going to hire somebody else, and then it goes downhill. That is not what you want to have happen in this organization, but I think it's worth trying to do the Knicks model of, hey, Tibbs got us this far. He can't quite get us over the edge. Let's bring in some new juice and really get a new locker room vibe going. To me, it's about that. It's not about Jared Bednar is the guy to blame. It's more that you need to get more out of these guys. And to me, Jared Bednar has shown that there is a certain ceiling there of what he can get out of these guys.
But that ceiling is also a Stanley Cup victory at the same time.
Yeah, one Stanley Cup victory in a very long period of time where you probably could have had 2 or 3 by now.
I know Zach's talked about it, but it's very similar to the Atlanta Braves in the 1990s. Very similar. Where that Atlanta Braves team was a wagon for, 5 or 6 years with that starting rotation. They got 1. And look, anything short, it's the same argument with the Denver Nuggets. Anything short of 1 championship for Nikola Jokic is a disgrace. Anything short of 1 championship, or if you only finish with 1 championship with McKinnon and McCarr, that's just not good enough. But I think they're still in their window. Like there was so many.
No, they're still in. Real quick, they're still
ahead.
in their window, and I'm happy you just said that. That's why you need to make the move now. Not when you're trying to turn over the organization and like, hey, we're gonna suck for a couple years here. Let's get a new coach in here. I'm saying to maximize the window, you need to get a new head coach.
Yeah, I hear you. And the question I'll ask you in the text or RalmoSlaw.com text line 303-713-1043 is if your team move on from Bednar, give me a name or two that is going to improve the team or give it a different look. I'll give you the 2 that come to mind for me. It's David Carl, the Denver Pioneers head coach, and Pete DeBoer, former head coach of the Dallas Stars. And Pete DeBoer, who I believe, much like John Tortorella, is kind of part of this fraternity of hockey coaches that will always land a job. Maybe they go a year or 2 out of the game, but they'll always be in the mix for these opportunities. And I'm just not like, if you bring in David Carl, and Jake Shapiro brought this point up to me. I guess the Chicago Blackhawks pursued David Carl pretty aggressively last season, and he turned him down. So if Carl's turning down a marquee original 6 franchise, that tells me one of 2 things, and probably both things at the same time. 1, he's extremely comfortable at DU, as he should be. And 2, maybe it is the Avalanche job that he's got his eye on. I don't think he's going to force his way in there, but that's definitely something to consider. But I'm not even sure if David Carl is the right guy for the Colorado Avalanche. Then you've got Pete DeBoer, of course, which is a whole separate conversation. So, look, Dante, like, I don't disagree with you. I just can look at it both ways. And I guess the way that I'm trying to look at it is what we said at the end of the drive is, what do I think the Cronkies are going to do?
Well, that's a totally different conversation.
It is a different conversation. But that's how I'm trying to look at it, because there were so many similarities to the Denver Nuggets flaming out in the playoffs in their final game and in the game prior to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know you're on social media. Like, the Nuggets are losing to the Wolves. This is an end of an era. It was so nice while it lasted. We've got to trade Jamal. They've got to fire Adam, and they've got to love you, AG, but we got to get you off this team. Like, I was getting some of those same vibes on social media and from talking with fans about the Avalanche. Like, oh my gosh, like, they got to figure out something to do with this core. Like, are you really going to pay Cale Makar $20+ million and pay Nathan McKinnon? Like, what is going on here? Like, good people are going to get fired. You got to get off Bednar after this. And here we are, more than 48 hours after the fact, and no movement. That tells me Jared Bednar's coming back. Again, that's not reporting. That's not insight. That's pure speculation on my part. But the Cronkies seem to be pretty forgiving when it comes to, for lack of a better phrase, falling short of expectations. Funny enough, the one person they weren't forgiving with was Michael Malone.
Well, you say they're
reasons.
forgiving. How forgiving are they? Because
They have patience.
Jared Bednar is going into the final year of his contract, and if I know anything about sports, guys do not like to go into the final year of their contract. To be honest, I see it as a situation of you got to re-up him and extend him this offseason, or you got to fire him this offseason. I don't see a scenario where they're letting him go into his final year. I think he respects himself too much to go into a final year coaching that way. He is one of the best head coaches in Avalanche history, and you're going to let him... maybe the best coach in Avalanche history. I just don't see a scenario where he's coaching on his final year here.
I'll put a bold take out there.
And if those are the two options, re-upping or firing him, which one do you think, one, are you more likely to do, and two, which one do you think the Rockies are more likely to do?
I'll put it out there. I think it's more likely that Jared Bednar gets a contract extension than he's fired.
Wow.
I don't think that's that bold of a take.
No, I don't think it is either. I just think it's the wrong path for this team, but I don't think it's that crazy.
Maybe it is the wrong path. Like, ultimately, we'll never know. But like what I do know is if you bring Jared Bednar back and you run it back with this core, you're probably going to find yourself you're going to be a top 5 team in the NHL. Obviously the playoffs are its own thing. Like, I'm not going to guarantee that they're back in the conference final, but you're going to be in that mix once again. Like, that's what hurts, is this season felt like such a letdown. And I'm not saying if you bring in somebody else that you're going to necessarily take a step back, but you know where you're at. And I understand where you're at is frustrating right now for the Avs fan. But again, when it comes down to why the Avalanche lost this series, naturally the fan is going to point the finger at the head coach, as they should. Jared Bednar has to shoulder this load, no doubt. But I think it's more on the players.
See, to me, it's more...
Nathan MacKinnon not scoring a goal? That's more impactful than Jared Bednar?
Again, it's not his X's and O's. It's the identity issue for me that this team is not a defensive-first team. I think you completely need to switch that. And secondly, and this is kind of a workaround on blaming the players, Jared Bednar didn't get the most out of his players. And I'm going to blame Jared Bednar on that. And I guess you can blame the players on that as well. But, again, that's one guy where you were talking about 8 to 10 guys underperforming in this series, maybe more. To me, it's the head coach isn't getting enough out of them, and maybe you need some new blood in there to keep guys on their toes.
So here's where I'll kind of leave you with on this conversation. It's an excerpt from a column from my good friend Sean Keeler of the Denver Post. When it comes to the rationalizing of how the Avalanche, how Josh Kroenke, KSC, Joe Sakic, less about Joe Sakic if I'm being honest, how they kind of view this offseason and the Avalanche as a whole. Quote, Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke are for hoops, football, and soccer guys first. Let me say that again. Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke are hoops, football, and soccer guys first. They treat the Avalanche like a burgundy-headed stepchild. And I can't tell you how Josh and Stan feel. I'm sure they're disappointed. But I also think they're probably looking back and saying, hey, we got a good thing going with this guy. We're one of the Final Four teams. We're one of the best. Under Jared Bednar's tenure for the last 7 to 8 years, we've been one of the best teams in the NHL. I don't disagree with you. I personally think Jared Bednar's coming back. We'll see if he gets an extension or if it's just like a 1-year deal or it's a 3-year deal, whatever it might be. I just think the fact that we haven't heard anything yet, to me, makes me think that Jared Bednar's coming back. Now, the bigger conversation that we can have as well is that involving Chris McFarland. And there's speculation out there that he might be looking to take a step up and roll with the Nashville Predators, and that's a whole separate conversation that we can continue along with here on the show. I think that's part of the reason as to why we haven't had an end-of-season media availability yet. Because if Chris McFarland's in deep negotiations with Nashville, they're not going to roll him out there for a day for the Avalanche, and then the next morning it's Elliot Friedman breaking that he's going to Nashville, right? So that's kind of where we're at with that. But look, whichever way you slice it is an extremely, extremely disappointing end to the season for the Colorado Avalanche. I was there for every single home game and did not expect to be here. I'll eat my crow. I think like I said, I think it was last Thursday I was on, and it was after the Game 1 loss, and I felt pretty confident about this Avalanche team. And I don't want to say that I overlooked Vegas. Maybe I did a little bit to a certain extent, but I just expected a lot more from this squad. I expected a lot more from the star players, MacKinnon included. And for MacKinnon not to meet with the media for 3 consecutive games, knowing that we're not going to hear from him now till the start of training camp, come on, man. You're the leader of the team. Well, I know Landeskog's the leader of the team, but you're the best player on the team. You're a face of a franchise. Comes with the territory. And I understand MacKinnon's not want to be privy with the media anyway. Like I said, I was there in the Game 1 scrum, 53 seconds, cutting off my buddy Arif, mid-question. I get it. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. but it's just, not a good look. I think it's a fair thing to say. Cale Makar spoke. Landy spoke. And I'm not saying, this, that, has to do with McKinnon entirely with respect to how this season ended, but it's just, it's frustrating, right? Because the fans want to hear from you. You're one of the biggest impact players on this team. You need to meet with the media. So, all right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll continue along with the conversation. A little bit more Avs talk here, mixing a little Broncos conversation on the program, because as you know, they like to say, Dante, there's never an off season for talking Broncos. And now that Avs season has come and gone.
I have one more question on Bednar, but we can get to it afterwards.
All right, yeah, let's hit a break. We'll come back, do just that. Denver Sports Tonight, AP and Dante.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause. Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown. On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach By in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. It's a one-day event all to raise money for Recruiting Classroom, whose mission it is to help kids play sports. Who will raise the most? That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach By, head to ZachCares.com.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Denver at 720-637-9567. 720-637-9567. That's 720-637-9567. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationdenver.com.
Done right kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Restore your bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning hair with the same simple one-day treatment I receive from Dr. Tanya Pauls of Advanced Hair. Your own natural hair begins regrowing the very next day, and your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR, AdvancedHair.com.
Cheyenne Frontier Days. Born out of the American frontier, come salute our American heroes in the air, in the arena, and in the streets of Cheyenne this July. CFDrodeo.com. See you in Cheyenne.
Flatland Cavalry. Shane Smith and the Saints. I ever see is Fiddler's Green Amphitheater, Saturday, June 20th. Get your tickets now at AXS.com.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
What if you had the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity's summer savings event, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. Now through June 15th, get gig Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 years with equipment and unlimited data included. No strings, no commitments, and get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected online from threats. Plus, you can even try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions applies, requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account, taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required, speeds vary, use of fiber, coaxial cable.
This segment on The Fan brought to you by Denver Roof Pros.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
All right, it's Denver Sports Tonight here on The Fan. Danilo Piro, Dante Gomez. Let's get right back into it. If you want to get involved, 303-713-1043 is the number of text. That, of course, is the RonLoSolana.com text line. Someone does bring up here, and I want to address this as well. Obviously, the Avalanche today in the hockey world shook to its core with the unfortunate news that Claude Lemieux passing in pretty stunning circumstance as well. So, want to acknowledge that. I was very, very young when Claude Lemieux was in the league, but obviously have a great respect for the history of the sport, what he meant to this organization, not just this organization, but the sport as a whole with Montreal, New Jersey Devils, of course, the Colorado Avalanche, a multi-time Stanley Cup award winner, or Stanley Cup trophy winner, and one of the all-around great modern-era hockey players. So rest in peace, to Claude Lemieux, a very, very sad and tragic story that we had come across the timeline today. So part of the reason I do bring that up, though, is we did have a text message when it comes to off-season media availability and end-of-season media availability. This is from Mike. He says, are you sure they didn't push everything back when the Claude Lemieux news happened? I don't think that's the case because it typically takes a little time to plan this stuff, and obviously the circumstances surrounding Claude Lemieux's death were very, sudden, unexpected. Like, it's one thing if someone's sick, right, and you don't want to get into that conversation, but we all know what happened with Claude Lemieux, and it's obviously very devastating and tragic. So, no, I do not think that had any impact myself on them not having an end-of-season press conference tomorrow, at least one that we haven't been told about yet. I would think if they were going to have one tomorrow, we'd know about that by now. So all indications are, I believe Evan Rawl from the Gazette put it out. We'll have that sometime next week. And again, I've said it, I think it's more about Bednar and the contract, and I think it's more about Chris McFarland and the contract. And if you guys haven't heard about that, there's some rumors out there that he might be being poached, or he's looking at being poached by Nashville to essentially be the Joe Sakic to the Avs, to the Nashville Predators. So we'll see if that has any legs to it as well. But Dante, you mentioned you had a point you wanted to bring up before we hit a break.
Yes, it's kind of a two-part question here, but do you not think that Bednar has somewhat lost the locker room with how they performed with their backs against the wall? And number two, do you think that it's more likely that Bednar wins a second championship here in Denver over the next 2-3 years, or a new coach could come in and do that?
So to answer your second question first, I'm split. And the reason I say I'm split on that is because I truly think it's more about the players than it is the coach, like whether it's Bednar or somebody else. And to answer your first question, when it comes to has Bednar lost the locker room, like when I hear lost the locker room, I think about what we saw play out with the Orlando Magic, where there's reports coming out that like Banchero's going to request a trade if this coach is brought back. I'm thinking of Daryl,
and it's not that far, obviously.
Right. I'm thinking of Daryl Morey and James Harden. And I know Morey's an executive, but like James Harden going out on the Chinese sneaker tour, talking, just throwing dirt. Like
Daryl Morey's a liar.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite videos.
Right. I don't think Bednar has lost the locker room, and there's plenty of indication. McKinnon had some good quotes about him leading up to the playoffs. Like, I just don't think he has. Like, and
how do you explain how they played in Game 3 and Game 4 when the urgency was at a maximum, when the backs were against the wall, and that's the effort that they put forward?
Again, I go back to them being front runners all year and getting punched in the mouth and not knowing what to do. It's kind of like when the bully gets bullied. You know, this kid's going to steal your lunch money every day, and then your big brother comes in and gives him a smack in the mouth or whatever it might be, and the bully doesn't know what to do because he's used to being the enforcer. Like, that's the thing is, like, the Avalanche were used to being the hunters, right? Like, they were out there dominating teams, flexing on teams, playing with confidence. The way that I describe it, and yes, this does come down on Bednar, but again, Nathan MacKinnon not scoring a goal in the entire series is insane. Is that on Jared Bednar? And I understand that McKinnon was hurt for, 1.5 games. The Colorado Avalanche not scoring a goal for over 100 consecutive minutes of game time from games 3 to 4 is insane. Does Bednar deserve some of that playing? Absolutely. But when you've got ESPN before the year had Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar as, I want to say, 2 of the top 3 players in the NHL, if not top 3, it was top 5. And Marty Necas ain't no slouch. Right, and we've talked, oh my gosh, Nazem Kadri coming back. Nicholas Wall was awesome up until this. It was awesome through the Kings series. Is it Jared Bednar's fault that Brock Nelson can't shoot a puck into the ocean? I mean, how many looks did Brock Nelson have in this series? And just could not convert. So I think you bring up a good point. But I guess to me, and it's painful, and I'm not trying to make excuses, I'm really not. This guy led you to a President's Trophy. And everyone's going to point to, look at Vegas. They're back in the Stanley Cup Final. This is their 3rd coach in 9 years or whatever the number is. I understand that. There's 2 sides to every coin. But the Avalanche are right where they want to be. I understand they fell short. When I say where they want to be with respect to being in contention, they took a step this year. It wasn't the Dallas Stars this year. They ran into a buzzsaw, as Bednar alluded to. And I'm not necessarily a Bednar apologist. I know I probably sound like one right now. I just think it's so much more on the players than it is the coach.
I don't know. When you mention 5 to 6 players underperforming, to me that speaks to the coach and not being able to maximize his guys. So I think that at this point, it's just everyone's a little too buddy-buddy in that locker room, and you need to remind everybody that, hey, this is a business. We're out there to try to win championships, and anything less is not going to be accepted. And I think you need to make some of those guys in that locker room a little uncomfortable. And I think the way you do that is by firing Jared Bednar and bringing in some new blood.
And I would say when it comes to bringing in new blood, I think it's removing guys from that locker room. I think it's Val Nichushkin, thanks for playing. Where have you been? I think it's Josh Manson, you're another year older. I think it's Devon Taves. He looks like he took a step back in this playoffs. Are you going to be our first-line defenseman next to Cale Makar moving forward? I think those are the questions that the Colorado Avalanche need to address more than the coach. I think it's more about the core of this team. And obviously, and let me come out and say this. This might be a hot take to some of you. Cale Makar is far more important to the Avalanche than Nathan MacKinnon. Far more important.
I think I agree with that take.
And I'm not sure I would have thought that before. Obviously, Makar's a few years younger. But, here's the viral tweet that's been going around. Hold on, I just had it pulled up. I mean, age is a real factor now for this Avalanche team. Going into next playoffs, Cale Makar is going to be 28, MacKinnon 31, Devon Taves 33, Landeskog 34, Brock Nelson 35, Josh Manson 35, and Nazem Kadri 36. And this is a team that has shipped off draft pick after draft pick after draft pick and prospects and young players to put themselves in the best chance to win a Stanley Cup, and they've fallen short of that since winning it in 2022. To me, I would personally rather bring back Bednar and readdress and recalibrate the core than fire the coach and run it back entirely. Because Nichushkin, I understand he was hurt in Game 4, but where is it? Where has this guy been? I mean, Josh Manson, we've got to get some impact here. MacKinnon as well. Those guys are MacKinnon and Makar. I'll give Makar a little bit of a pass just because I think the injury, and it came out from Elliot Friedman, there's a chance Makar doesn't play at the start of next season. That's how bad that injury is. But, coaches coach and players play, right? And I think Bednar did the best of his ability, and maybe it wasn't good enough. Frankly, it wasn't good enough to set his guys up for success. But these guys played the worst hockey they had all season when they couldn't afford to. Again, I know you and I just don't see eye to eye on it. But that's the way it goes, I suppose, right? All right, let us know your thoughts on the RamosLaw.com. Text line 303-713-1043. Obviously, a very, very disappointing end to the season for the Colorado Avalanche. It is brutal to sit here on May the 28th and not be at Game 5. I mean, again, and I'll say this because we'll move on to the Broncos to end the show. To me, it's not about losing the series, it's how you lost. A sweep is just unfathomable. And again, tip your cap to the Vegas Golden Knights. They did what they needed to do. We'll see what the Avalanche decide to do. Will Bednar go? Will he stay? Do they adjust the core? Do they shuffle the deck chairs on the sinking ship? Ultimately, we'll find out here probably next week and throughout the course of the offseason. All right, little Broncos conversation. Dante and I will talk about Von Miller and his outspoken commitment and desire to wanting to come back to Denver. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Will it happen? Back after this.
After a stunning defeat at the hands of the Golden Knights, are the Avalanche facing a similar reality as their Ball Arena counterparts?
Here's the stark reality. The championship windows for these two teams have closed. And so both teams need to move on to different coaches. Both teams need to shake up their rosters. The Nuggets have already shown that they're not willing to do that. Now we'll see what the Avs do.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
2026 is shaping up to be an amazing year to buy a home in Colorado. If you've been dreaming about getting into your first place, upgrading for more space, or downsizing for a simpler lifestyle, now is a smart time to start planning. And the first step is easy. Get pre-approved. With American Financing, you can get it done in 24 hours or less, so you'll know exactly what you can afford before you start shopping. Rates have been dropping, home prices are steady, and more homes are hitting the market. You could score the right home at the right price and lock in a monthly payment that fits your budget without stretching yourself thin. And unlike renting, every payment you make goes toward your future, not your landlord's. And here's a misconception we love to bust. You do not need 20% down. Many buyers purchase with as little as 3% down. So if home ownership is on your 2026 goals list, let's make it happen. Call American Financing, Colorado's home for home loans, at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey guys, your boy Steve here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
This segment on The Fan brought to you by Denver Roof Pros.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Denver Sports Station 104.3.
Leave Zach and Phil. I'm sure every show's done it. The most painful playoff loss for the three teams: the Broncos, the Nuggets, the Avalanche. I want to focus on this funeral show, and there's plenty of time to talk Broncos, folks. Don't worry. We'll be talking plenty of Broncos over the next few months leading up to the season, of course. But I'll let you open up here. Between the Nuggets, the Avalanche, and the Broncos, which of the three was the most painful ending to a season?
Oh, just this year. I thought we were going all time. I was going to go 2024 Game 7 Nuggets.
I'm going
Timberwolves.
to do that series with Jake Shapiro next week on our YouTube show.
Okay.
We're going to go show by show, but we only got a few minutes left on the show, just when it kind of pertains to this recency of this year.
I mean, to me, it's the Avalanche. To me, that's the only team I really saw going out and winning a championship this year. I started to buy in on the Nuggets during that 12-game win streak at the end of the year, but I still never saw them as the favorites to go out and do it. I saw this Avalanche team as the favorites, and it was basically their cup until it wasn't their cup. So to me, the Avs, and it's not particularly close.
Well, they say great minds think alike. I want to disagree with you for the sake of sports talk radio, but I can't. I mean, the Avalanche were the one team of the bunch that had clear-cut championship expectations. Well, I shouldn't say that. All three teams had championship aspirations. But by the time we got to the quarter point of a season, right, like a quarter of the way through the Nuggets season, quarter of the way through the Broncos season, quarter of the way through the Avalanche season, like the Avalanche were clearly a cut above the other two. The Broncos were a very, very good team. One seed in the AFC. 14 wins. We know all about that. The Nuggets, up and down, but a competitive team, right? There was moments throughout the course of the season, in particular in that final win streak down the stretch of the regular season, that, yeah, maybe this team could do that. But it was clear as day the Avalanche were the best of the bunch of those three all season long. I can understand the Nuggets flaming out. Obviously, I can understand the Broncos flaming out, or losing, rather, the way they did against the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. I understand all of that. But the Avalanche are the one team where I'm looking, okay, if they play this team in this round, they play this team in that final, I'm taking the Avs. That's the one team that you felt like had the best chance and a realistic chance to go out there and win a championship. The Broncos would probably be second for me. And let me say this as well. I think with Bo Nix healthy, I think they beat the New England Patriots. By the way, my hot take is I don't think the Patriots are making the playoffs next year. I don't know how hot that is, but
I'm with you. I also think the Patriots are in for. I don't think they'll be terrible, but I think they're going to win like 7 or 8 games.
And maybe it was Kopi. I was actively talking myself into the Broncos beating the Patriots with Stidham. I was not buying what the Patriots were selling last year at all. But I also the reason I put the Broncos at 2 is if they advance to the Super Bowl, I'm not sure they're beating Seattle. I'm probably picking Seattle. I don't know if I'd say that on the air. Hindsight's 20/20, but I probably would have taken the points of the Broncos.
I still wanted to see Sam Darnold in a clutch game. And I get that he did it in the NFC Championship. That game was in Seattle. I want to see him on a neutral field go out and win a close game against a good defense. I have yet to really see that, and I'm a massive Sam Darnold guy. I was a believer the entire way of the Jets, the Panthers, big Sam Darnold fan. But I still not truly going to believe that he was going to have what it takes to win a close game. And that would have been a close game at halftime because it wasn't all that bad even with the Patriots against the Seahawks. And the Patriots were god-awful in that game.
Yeah.
You put a competent Broncos operation out there, I think we would have seen again. I think it would have been close. The overall roster, I'm going to give the edge to the Seahawks. But I want to see Sam Darnold in some clutch moments.
No, I think it's a valid point. And obviously we'll never know. I think Seattle was a team of destiny last year. Like the way that they were able to run through the Rams and some of these other teams through the course of the playoffs. Like Seattle was a team that I wasn't buying what they were selling for a majority of the year either. I remember sitting in this chair watching that epic classic Thursday night football game, me, you, and Will Peterson between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. And Rams this, Rams that, Rams this, Rams that. Obviously, Seattle wins the game.
The Rams were the best team in the NFL last year. They got screwed. They should have been hosting the NFC Championship, and the reason they weren't hosting the NFC Championship is because that dumb NFC Thursday night football game when Sam Darnold throws it off the helmet of his offensive lineman, and it happens to go backwards, I guess, and then they scooped and scored. Craziness. If that doesn't happen, the Rams win that game, and the Rams are the ones hosting the NFC Championship, and they're probably the ones going to the Super Bowl at that point.
Fair.
And Matthew Stafford's probably winning his second Super Bowl, and he might have been retired by now.
Yeah, no, you're right. But point being, it would have been a coin flip at best for the Broncos and the Seahawks. Whereas if it was Avs Hurricanes, I think the Avs are a pretty considerable favorite. I'd feel pretty good about the Avalanche. I'd feel all right about the Broncos against the Seahawks, but okay, they have a chance. I would have been like, Avalanche are beating the Canes. Like that's where I'm at. And that leaves us with the Denver Nuggets, who frankly, as much as I try to talk myself into, and I was pretty honest on this show. I said, don't let this win streak fool you. I did say that. I was buying into it a little bit, but I wasn't like all the way back on board. Fact of the matter is they're probably never beating Oklahoma City, and they're probably not going to beat San Antonio either. So it is what it is. So I would go Avs, Broncos, and Nugs. It sounds like your order is the same.
Yep, I'm in the same boat there.
All right, good stuff. Rest in peace to Claude Lemieux. Obviously, very tragic news we got about him today. Sending our well wishes to his family and friends, of course. Tough ending for the Avalanche this season. A lot of Broncos conversation coming up. I'm not going to lie, that little 30-second little Thursday night football conversation got me fired up for NFL season
I am
as well.
so ready for the football
I'm
to be back.
I'm arguing with my friends about fantasy football already, right? Summertime, playing golf this weekend. Go outside, touch some grass, breathe some air. It's a disappointing, deflating ending to an Avalanche season and a Nuggets season at that. But I think both teams are going to be back in the mix next year. You got the Broncos to look forward to. See if the Rockies can do anything. We'll see what happens with the Buffs. Plenty to talk about in the world of Denver sports. For Dante Gomez, I'm Anilo Piro, DST on The Fan.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style.